General contractors here, so a construction professional liability claim. So a contractor hires an engineer to design the shoring of a site excavation for a commercial building. The design of that shoring was inadequate and resulted in a settlement damage to the neighboring building. The building owner filed a claim against the subcontractor, but the contractor's GL policy denies coverage as the damage resulted from engineering services. And that's a pretty standard exclusion, right? So any claims out of professional services. A general contractor's PL policy could cover coverage for engineering professional services, as well as provide defense for the building owner's claims. So again, another example of where the GL wouldn't pick up and we would. And then finally, contractor's protective indemnity. GC hires electrical engineer for an industrial food plant. The electrical design was inadequate for the facility specs. The GC incurs $2 million in additional rework costs and $800K in owner delay penalties due to a 4-month delay. If the electrical engineer carried $1 million in limits only, the GC protective policy would indemnify the GC for the unsatisfied amount of $1.8 million. So it's a $2.8 million in costs, but you can only get $1 million back from the electrical engineer, so there's 1.8. So just to add one final step here, why that is important, for engineers and design professionals, they tend to not have a lot of cash or a lot of assets, right? Their PL policy is usually one of their biggest assets on the P&L. So if something like this does go wrong, just because the damage is 2.8, that doesn't necessarily mean the design professional has 2.8 to give to the GC, and they're often relying on that insurance policy to give those amounts. So if the insurance policy is exhausted, there's typically not that much money left in the pot, and that's how our protective indemnity steps in.